All right, so this is question 4 from the practice test, right? And it looks like we have like the same sort of lineup here, except notice that supervisor is no longer a subclass of employee. Rather, it's more like a grandchild of employee, right? So it's like here's like the sort of hierarchy here. We have employee, right, and then we have a manager extending employee, right? And then down here we have supervisor extending manager, right? So that's the sort of hierarchy that we're dealing with here. That's the only thing that's really changed class-wise, right? So let's go ahead and see what we're doing down here in main, right? I got employee ES, so ES standing for employee supervisor, right? I got employee manager, and then I just have an employee, right? And here it looks like we're doing some swapping of sorts. So let's go ahead, kind of just like write EM ES. Now, what are these equal to? This guy's equal to an employee. This guy's equal to a manager. This guy is equal to a supervisor. Okay. So that's what these three lines are doing. What are these three lines are doing? I guess what are they doing, right? In this first line, I'm saying that EM is being assigned to E, right? So what is the value of EM? It holds a manager object. So what does E have to hold? I guess really these should have been arrows. Same difference, but I think this conveys what I'm trying to get at a little better here, right? Because these are all references or sort of pointers in a sense, right? So E is equal to EM. What is EM pointing to? A manager object. So what should E be pointing to? The same manager object, right? So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Now I'm pointing to the same thing that EM is pointing to, right? Okay, so that's this line done. What's happening over here? I'm saying that whatever ES is pointing to, EM should also point to that same thing, right? So I'm taking EM. I'm saying, what is ES pointing to? It's pointing to the supervisor object. So EM also should be pointing to that same supervisor object, right? See, this is why arrows would have been better, or are better, I should say. And then ES is equal to E, right? What is this saying in English, right? It's saying that whatever E is pointing to, ES should also point to that. So what is E pointing to? It's pointing to this manager object. So let's make ES also point to that, right? So now both E and ES are pointing to a manager object, and it's saying that I need to do es.work. Okay, first let's again, what is es right now? Right, es refers to a manager object. So let's go see like from this employee reference perspective, what can I observe? What can I see? What do I have access to? Right? I have access to basically everything an employee, right? And now let's go look at what I have access to in manager. I have manager's constructor. It's default constructor, right? And I also have it would appear like public void work. I also have access to manager's overwritten work method, right? Because the prototypes here match, so I can say safely that this method overwrit this method, right? So if I do es.work, I'm not going to invoke this method because I have overwritten it inside the manager class, and I am a manager from the perspective of an employee reference, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out manager slacking off to the screen, right? And of course the code just kind of ends, right? So this is what we anticipate the output to be. Of course, we can go ahead and go check that, right? Manager slacking off, and yes, this is the option you would want to pick. I hope that helped.